This week's sponsor is Anchor.fm. In our experience as podcasters, Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free, which you can use right from your phone or computer. They have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast so it sounds great, and they'll distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard everywhere: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many more. If you're interested in monetizing your podcast, Anchor sets you up with sponsors with no minimum listenership. What could be easier than that? Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. The Chains of Reason podcast, where we link the chains of reason that affects our daily lives in society and culture, including, but not limited to, sports and politics.
Welcome to a very special episode of the Chains of Reason podcast. I'm your host, DJ Grand, and sitting in for my brother this week is a very special guest, my lovely daughter, Autumn Ray.
Hi.
And as always is Ryan, our producer.
Plus Ultra.
Today we are, speaking of Plus Ultra, today we're going to be talking about My Hero Academia. I call it cartoon, they call it anime, but we're going to give it in and dip our toes into pop culture a little bit. So to start off, I have some questions for the two of you. For each of you, what makes My Hero Academia so good to you?
You want to go first? Or?
It's just like superheroes.
That's it? Just superheroes?
I guess I like the characters in the story.
Was it because they're teenagers, you relate to them more?
Sure.
Well, with the shonen stuff, it's very common with a lot of popular anime. You get what they call shonen anime. It's like for younger people and stuff, but they're the more popularized anime like One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z, all that kind of stuff, like the action-based ones. And you get so many of them that are the same. And I always thought when I first saw My Hero, it was kind of like the Japanese X-Men, and it was obviously super anime because I'm a big fan of X-Men. And when I saw them kind of doing their twist on it and super anime style, I just, thought it was really cool.
It is a lot like X-Men. They each have their own little natural quirks, I guess, in X-Men. They don't call them quirks, but I guess that'd be the same with them.
But it's like mutants and
yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like different where there's a lot of there's the villains too, and then like the whole school, and then like training to become better superheroes and stuff. But it's a funny story that they kind of make fun of superheroes too, like as like you're going to become a professional superhero, they take it seriously in the show, but as like the writer was probably taking some criticism for just Marvel and DC in general.
I see some definite echoes of at least DC. I'm not as much of a Marvel guy as you are, but especially with All Might, that's
exactly.
Superman.
I
mean the symbol of peace that is, or
the
symbol of justice is yes,
know?
Absolutely. For me, what makes this good to me is being an ethics guy, and it's that battle between good and evil. It's the decisions of what's right and what's wrong. That's what I like. That's what I see in it. My second question to you two is, who's your favorite character, both male and female? Autumn?
Bakugo for male. I don't know, female. Probably Toga or something.
Which one's Toga?
The serial killer girl.
As he nicely say, the serial killer. The one that wants to kill everybody.
We should probably tell anyone that this episode's going to be full of spoilers, so beware.
Hey, the new season's out, so you had time to get caught up.
That's right.
I like All Might, probably on the guy side. That's kind of like a give me, but he's just like a funny, again, like the whole kind of joke on the superhero character and like the ultimate superhero, but with like his story of him being sick and going through just his injuries and stuff, and kind of at the tail end of his career was really cool. Girls, I like the girls. there hasn't really been like one that's stuck out too much. There's been a lot of characters in the female side, but Uraka, is that the
Uraraka.
yeah, she's the gravity one, right?
Yeah.
I'd probably go with her just because she's when she had her fight in the main festival with
Bakugo?
yeah, that was really cool. And that was like, I always like when they show, it's like you can kind of tell what's gonna happen, you know, Bakugo being who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's such like a nice person, and you know, her pulling out some really cool moves and like giving it her all and stuff. It was like really cool to see, and animated very well too. And her powers are really interesting too. Like controlling gravity would be a pretty sweet thing to have, you know.
I don't know why they don't just call her anti-gravity instead of Uravity. Whatever, though.
I guess that was her choice.
I kind of agree with you. I really don't identify with the female one, but my favorite male character is Todoroki.
Yeah, Todoroki's
Icy
cool.
hot.
Yeah.
But see, once again, it's the ethics thing. I think he is maybe they meant this, maybe they didn't, but for me, he is a metaphor for ethics of good and evil, hot being evil and cold being good. And he even does it with his mother. His mother he sees as good, and his father he sees as bad.
Yeah.
So to me, Todoroki is the embodiment of an ethical conundrum.
And before he like had his arc of his personality, I mean, when you first introduced Todoroki, he despises his endeavor side and refuses to use it because that's his dad's power and he hates his dad and all that stuff. But it's that's a really cool part for that character as well, since he's obviously one of the main characters, but it's just cool when they focus on just some big plot points with him and his whole family and stuff like that, and him owning his power as his own instead of thinking it's a weakness because it's for something that he doesn't like, you know. So.
Well, honestly, it shouldn't have taken Midoriya to teach him that, but it did, and I guess that's
that's
point.
the whole thing for
plot.
the protagonists and all these like shonen animes too. It's always because Midoriya, you know, he's like he started without a quirk, you know, he never had these powers, and once he was given them, he's seen this totally different than all his classmates. So it's like he has a lot of lessons to go through and help out, you know, with other people as well. So it's just like everybody's competing so much, and he does it in like a different way. So, you know, for someone like Todoroki, who's like top of the line right off the start, you know, to hear him.
Especially when he walks in his first little tests, and he is the embodiment of cool.
Yeah.
Just walks in, get out, you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Walk in, touch it, is it? We win. I mean,
yeah. He's like, he's like a plus student. And I was researching a little bit on it, and I didn't know because I guess the way that it's explained and getting into the UA is there's like the entrance exam that most of the characters go through, but I think it was Todoroki and the one girl that like
Yaoyorozu.
Yeah, that's the one that makes all the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
and also
Like-
one from the other school.
Yeah.
Other schools
the guy,
get
the one who ends up
the
fighting
wind
Todoroki,
guy.
the wind guy.
Oh, okay.
Hanasha,
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Yeah, he also got in by recommendation.
That's
Mhm.
it. Yeah. I didn't know that till like today. I was like, oh, that makes sense, you know. So
Well, I suppose we should let everyone know that those who don't know My Hero is the world. They claim it's 80% superheroes are with quirk. That means 20% doesn't have it. And my question to that is, doesn't that make the 20% the special ones?
I guess they would be
Because the norm, wouldn't the norm be those with quirks? And
Yeah.
then the special ones would be those without quirks. So in the beginning, Midoriya should have thought himself as special.
I think, you know, and he still is because he wasn't born with one. So and you know, that's his big secret and stuff that he goes through. But, I mean, the whole quirk thing too, it's just, it's how you use it. You know, you can have just like a simple power, or it could just be like your identity. You know, there's people that are like, you know, lizards and dogs and stuff.
Well,
You know?
the frog girl, that's
Yeah.
her identity. And I even think Todoroki, the icy hot, the left and right.
Yeah, exactly.
That's his identity too. So yeah, absolutely.
And it's kind of like if they want to make them stronger, because I think if you're born with whatever you have, you can keep it. You know, it's just like working out. You know, you can obviously push yourself to, you know, different limits depending if you're, you know, working out and stuff like that. or you can just stay healthy and just
And
kind
let
of
it
be
stagnate.
normal,
Yeah,
you know?
I think that's the point of the academia.
Yeah.
the academic part of it is that they want to improve.
Yeah,
their
not everyone
skills.
wants to be a superhero in this
Yes,
world. So
absolutely. The next question is, what would be the best quirk for each of you to possess if you had one?
that's a
Autumn?
tough one.
Like out of all the characters,
Anyone you want, yeah.
probably their explosions or the copy one. I like the copy one.
So you're talking Bakugo's explosions?
Bakugo's explosions and Monoma, the guy from the sports festival that kind of riled Bakugo up. His is copy.
Okay. Ryan?
The one, what's the one girl's name again that we just said with
Yorozu.
yeah, like hers, because she can literally just materialize anything. It's kind of like Full Metal Alchemist with like alchemy. In today's world, that'd be super. You could just, oh, I need a new microphone. Just make one. New computer. Just make.
You talk about the
one.
girl who exposes herself now? Or are you talking about?
Well, she
She has to open up her chest and.
well, she depending on what she's pulling out, but I think it comes out of her body, so it's
But
Yeah.
you're talking about that girl.
It
yes,
comes
that
out
one.
of her arms and
I-
stuff.
Totally agree with you.
I
That would
mean-
be the one I'd want to.
If you had that power in today's world, it would be very useful. Just
Absolutely.
making material.
Some
stuff,
thought
so.
comes on you, and next thing you know, I got a gun on me. I can,
That's true. Yeah,
anything.
I
I mean,
that's why she's really cool too, because she just like pulls out weapons.
That's
and stuff
right.
Like that. But I think even like Todoroki's like a really sweet one too, to have the control of fire and ice the way he can do it. I mean, just surfing around in ice would be so cool. So
and he does that cool in
Yeah.
this. I don't like how they call it a sports festival. I really don't see it as sports.
Nah.
I don't.
I never understood what they use that term a lot in a lot of anime. It's always like the sports thing, and when they have powers like this, it's like, is that really a sport?
It's a
They're all
competition,
trying-
no doubt.
for sure.
But so is poker. It doesn't make it a sport,
Yeah.
but I digress.
Yeah.
Okay, the next question is, who's the best teacher? And then the correlate to that is, who's the best pro?
Like
Autumn?
our favorite or the
Well,
best?
well, I guess the best or who you think is your favorite. Either one, whatever you want to say. I don't care.
Teacher, my favorite would probably be Aizawa, just because I like Aizawa.
Izawa is Eraserhead.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know how you remember Razorhead and not Aizawa.
It's a little easier, I would give it.
Because I still haven't got a grasp of the Japanese. That's why. Well, let's go ahead and say his quirk. Let them know what that is, so they know what
Erases all the other powers. Like,
all the other quirks.
Yeah.
All right. And so, who's your favorite or the best pro?
He's not introduced in the anime, but it would be Hawks. He's the number 3 hero.
And what is his quirk? What does he do?
He has big wings.
So he can fly.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Marvel again and DC. But
They still didn't make like a Wolverine kind of guy. I mean, I guess maybe the dude that has the hardened skin and stuff, because there's like
yeah, a little bit.
a
Yeah.
little bit, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's the closest. So, who's your best teacher and
I
then pro?
definitely have to agree. Aizen, is that how you say it?
Aizawa.
Aizawa, yeah. Aizawa is definitely my favorite. When I first saw him in the show, he just has that cool senpai kind of thing where it's like he looks mean and has this, kind of lazy eye look to him, but he cares a lot about the students, and his power is very underestimating, because he
You're
can
right.
just look at you and basically everything that you think that you have so much strength with, he can just take it all away, so.
He should be a somnambulist though, because he's always sleeping.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
And like it's always funny because he can control his his scarves and stuff, which I'm like, isn't that the power too?
No, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
But does his hair have to be up in order for it to be working, and
I
it's
don't
down when it
understand how
doesn't
it
work?
works, but it's really cool when he uses it because he always does it really cool. So
He kind of reminds me of Snape from Hogwarts, and
I can see that.
doesn't he? I mean, he really does. And
Yeah.
it's almost like Snape's the same way. He's
Yeah.
kind of dark and he seems mean, but
You
he
think
cares
he's like
about
a
his
bad
students.
Guy,
yeah.
It's like you always get the wrong impression of him at first, but
Yes.
he's obviously more good than you actually think. You definitely judge a book by its cover. That's kind of I agree.
Okay, who's the best? Your favorite pro?
I always get pros mixed up because not all teachers are pros, right?
Well, technically,
it's like
all
they
the
had to
teachers have
bend.
the license,
I
but
think
they
it's
don't.
the other way around. Not all pros are teachers.
Oh, right. That
Yeah.
probably makes sense. Yeah, because they don't have, they're, pro. They can do whatever they
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean, All Might's a pro, right? He just
Yes.
went in it. Yeah.
Yes.
But that'd be just going back to my favorite character, I guess.
Why not?
Yeah.
If that's what it is. That's what it is.
I like the one. I don't know if he's a pro, but the one teacher that has all the stereo stuff, like he's
President
like,
Mike.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a
Mike,
pro.
yeah. He's awesome. I just think he's really funny, and again,
Well, he's a little over the top,
Yeah.
especially the way he talks. But
but
yeah.
even at the end,
His
when
lingo.
like the first when the League of Villains first strike the school, like when they showed, it was cool. They give every like teacher and the pros in the area like a little bit of a fight. It's like his power is really cool, and he just did like all the sound wave stuff. It just was animated really well. So
Well, since you bring him up, I think the juxtapose and when they're doing the announcing of the sports event, and you got the loud mic guy, and then you got the very quiet, or at least semi-quiet Eraserhead, and they're each going against each other. I think that was perfect.
yeah, and he like hates, like they don't like hate each other, but he always is annoyed by him because
Yes.
he's so loud. So.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
That
always
makes
funny.
sense. If you're gonna go teacher, I have to go All Might. I
He's
really,
great. He's hard to
I know
beat.
he is. It is very hard to beat, and he's probably the embodiment of the perfect superhero if there was one. I don't know all the pros enough. I'm only 2 weeks into this. I've watched every episode, but I just don't know all the pros enough to be able to give outside the teachers. And if you want to do that, it'd be Gran Torino. I like how he's fast
cool.
and all that,
Yeah.
all around.
I like him a lot too.
And he's kind of like, you think he's crazy, he's nuts, especially when Midoriya first meets him, and then he turns out being very wise. So that's
totally. Yeah.
that. I like how they played that one out.
Yeah.
So my next question is Stain correct to hold heroes accountable for making money as a hero, or can justice be the goal of heroes that are making money? Autumn.
It's a deep question there.
What's that?
This is the Chains of Reason part coming out.
That's right.
I think there was like a better way you could have done it instead of, killing them. Like,
No, I mean, my question is he right? I'm not talking about his actions. You could be right about that. But is he right? Because his motivation is that
The
they're not really heroes
heroes,
because
yeah.
they're making money.
I don't think he's right. Like, if they like love doing it and they're helping people, like, and they make money out of it, like that's a career,
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I just love
A
that.
plus.
Yes. Plus ultra.
Ultra, yeah.
Go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, he's definitely a more of extreme end of what what is right and what is wrong. And I love that arc too. That was like a really cool one because he didn't even like a lot of the villains too. He was going after them, and they
Even like some of the heroes, because he loves All Might. He thinks he's the perfect
Yeah.
hero, and he spares Midoriya.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
no,
yes,
that's
I
fine.
agree.
But it's having like a lone wolf kind of guy like that. It's I definitely wouldn't 100% agree with him, but I could see him. I guess with his story and stuff being annoyed by it being publicized and just like people making it as jobs and maybe abusing the system and stuff. But I think in this world, just with them doing this and teaching others and going through school, it's like they should be compensated in some way since they're putting their life on the line. So
they're capitalist, yes, me. So
Yeah.
that makes it moral. My problem with Stain is he reminds me of my most villainous philosopher, Immanuel Kant.
oh, okay.
Immanuel Kant basically said, if you, let's just say you're helping an old lady across the street, if you did that to make yourself feel better, it's not good. It
not
has
right.
no moral worth whatsoever. You must do it strictly out of a sense of duty.
Yeah.
And doesn't that sound exactly like Stain?
Yeah,
That
for
they
sure.
have to act exactly out of duty. I saw him and I see him as Immanuel Kant, and I said, oh, that's a bad dude.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if he likes Midoriya or not. That's a bad dude.
Yeah, he was bad.
And I think from his point of view, he's wrong about All Might, because I don't think All Might does it strictly out of duty.
No.
He does it because he wants to. He does it because a rational selfishness. He wants to be good. He
Yeah.
doesn't do it out of duty. So I think he makes a mistake about All Might. So if it is moral, but we both, I guess, all said it isn't. Momo, what's her last name? How do you say her?
Yagorozu.
Okay. It would be okay for her to make money with her quirk?
That would See, this is funny tying both of those because this goes with, there's like a whole episode about that in Full Metal Alchemist too, because hers is a lot like alchemy because they can just manifest things just with signs and stuff. But you could just see how you could just make money and you could just make valuables and stuff like that. So there is an ethics to that. I mean, she would definitely, I would think there would be rules to her quirk for sure. But then it's like, how is that any different than the one guy that controls electricity? You know, he could just be running his house or his.
Well, doesn't he charge iPhones? So doesn't he do that?
He
So,
but it's like, I don't know. You could get I guess maybe that's a bad example, but like there could be other ways to abuse your power to, you know, gain other things. You know, depending what it is. So,
what do you think, sweetie?
I don't know. Like probably a lot of rules. Like she can't just like make money. Like it's out of paper. She
But
needs
why
to know
not?
what it is.
Why can't she just make money? I'm not saying she should or shouldn't, because I do
Yeah.
have an answer for this, but I'm asking you, why can't she?
I guess it just like she didn't really work for it.
Very good. See, once again, I'm so proud of you. She didn't earn it. That is when there could be a pile of money laid in front of you. I mean, it could be all the money in the world. And if you didn't earn it, it's not yours. Justice would say that you don't deserve that.
but what if she opened a computer store, a video game store, and just made these things and then sold them?
Well, in a way, if she's making, she's just taking a shortcut to doing it, because
Yeah.
aren't you creating it out of your own when you build it, and then it's just taking a shortcut.
Yeah.
It's the money part that I'm trying to focus on.
Yeah.
Because you do have there's going to be little nuances that we could argue, but it's the money thing that I see that she didn't earn it, so
Yeah.
she shouldn't be able to do it.
I think we might be overstepping her power because I don't think she can create everything. I think she can make there might be a fine tune.
You guys would know more than me, but from what I've absorbed in it, they didn't put any limit onto it. As long as she was eating,
There is a limit.
There's a limit in how much she can make, but not
she could
what
do,
she can make.
There's a limit. She can't make living things.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, fine, but
That's still.
but
That's still
still
abroad,
money is still
yeah.
so money still goes
Here's
in.
No,
bad,
if
yeah.
she can only make stuff if she knows how it's made, so she can make money easily. It's just paper and ink, you know.
Well,
just
or
went on YouTube
coins.
for
She has to
Yeah,
learn how.
coins,
She
the
once she
metals and
learned
stuff,
how.
yeah.
See, that's intellectual. I really like it her more and more. So in my conclusion is I don't think she should morally be able to make money.
Yeah.
I guess someone could say make it and give it to someone else, the poor, but that's a different issue. Is Bakugo Midoriya's bully?
Yeah. Well, at the beginning, yes.
Why just the beginning?
They get better
I think all the way up through
until at
Season
least
3.
season 3. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah, he's definitely started off as a bully because he's just always been annoyed by Midori and just, you know, because when you knew him too, he's never had a quirk, and now it's become more of, I mean, I would say it's more than a bully now since Midori's obviously gained a quirk and is competing with him at an even level and obviously excelling in a lot of things too. So it's more of like a rivalry now than bullying.
Yes,
So
a competitor.
yeah.
Well, since you brought up Full Metal Alchemist, and in there is the 7 Deadly Sins, right?
Yeah.
I see the 7 Deadly Sins in this show. I mean, because Bakugo is anger,
Yeah.
Oh, pride.
pride,
Big pride.
absolutely.
That would be more than anger.
And I think Midori has a little bit of envy in him. At least in the
Mhm.
beginning, he did. I mean, I see those 7 Deadly Sins embodied in this story as well. So it kind of crosses over in that way.
Yeah, Midori's would definitely be envy. I mean, that's his whole, you know, he idolized.
The little grape juice, he's lost.
Mineta.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they're there. And that kind of shows how it's not this is made for teenagers and above. That's just definitely not a little kid show.
Well, Japanese have a different, you know, kind of thing with their animes and TV and stuff. There's that one guy, I forgot his name too. Guess you could call him Gluttony because he has to eat sugar for him to use
Oh,
his...
Diabetes
Sato.
boy.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Which I was like, I didn't, it took me a while to understand his since you just always saw him like, you know, just this big muscular dude. But then when they're like, they always do those little captions in between. It's like, he just has to eat tons of sugar to keep his like strength. I was like, that's so weird. I don't even know if I would like
That
that.
would no, I don't think I would. He would definitely need to see a dentist
Yeah,
often.
exactly.
That one kind of rides the line between gluttony and not, because he's not doing it to just be lazy and get fat and to enjoy it. He's doing it for a reason, but that doesn't mean he may not at times cross that line and be gluttonous. I agree. It's those sins are there, sprinkled throughout. I already did number 7 about the 80% population, so we'll move on to number 8. Is Todoroki justified in hating his dad?
Yeah,
Why?
a lot.
Why?
Abused his family. He abused his mom and sent her to like a mental hospital, and then he abused Todoroki like his whole life and wouldn't let him be with his siblings, whatever. Okay,
then a follow-up question: didn't Todoroki's mom scold Todoroki?
Yeah.
So then doesn't he have the right then to not like his mother too?
Yeah. He could end up he could have ended up hating his mother too, and it would be justified, but I think he sees it more as like it was a lot of stress from Endeavor that did it.
Yeah, well,
because her reason was she saw Endeavor in him.
Yeah, he understands the motive. Yeah. Anything?
It's such a crazy scenario too, because Endeavor really only cares about himself. I mean, even now, him being the number one, he wanted to be the number one in a different way. And the only kind of love he ever gave to Todoroki was to be a good superhero.
To be the next number one, to take over for All Might.
So he kind of did it in the wrong way with just, I wouldn't even call it tough love, but, just neglect and, you're no good, a lot of negative talk and stuff like that. So
my problem with Endeavor is he's a breeder. He had his kids just to try and take over.
Yeah.
Not because he loved his kids, not because he loved his wife, not because he wanted a family, but he had kids, and he kept doing it until he got the one, Todoroki got the right one.
That's very true.
And he did it just to overtake All Might.
Yeah.
That's envy.
Yeah, there you go. That's way more.
Yes, it is. What should a hero's main concern be? Fighting villains or rescuing people? Autumn?
Tie in to get even in I think it probably should be rescuing people, but you have to rescue them by fighting villains or by just if they're caught under a building. Like in All Might's last fight with All for One, he couldn't go full power until Bakugo was saved and the civilians were saved that were there, but
so he was just looking out for them, but not necessarily rescuing them. I do get your point.
He was looking out for them.
If you had to choose between the two, which should they do? Rescue people or fight villains? This one, there's no wrong answer. It could be either way. I'm just wondering what you guys think.
I guess rescue them, because if you it would, rescuing them, because if All Might sees a person and then they choose to fight instead, and then just sees that villain take it as that person as hostage or whatever, and ends up killing the person, he's gonna just for himself, he'll feel so guilty that he didn't choose the person. So I guess it's preference.
No, it would be for each hero. What do you think?
I'd say keeping the villains at bay, because then you don't need to save anybody.
I kind of agree with you, because if the heroes take care of the villains, and sometimes it's not always possible, they do have a limited hand, but if they take care of the villains, then the police, fire, and rescue can do their job and take care of the casualties. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they shouldn't help. I totally understand what you're saying, Autumn. And especially I totally understand the impulse of being a hero and wanting to help people. But by keeping the villains at bay, that is helping them.
Yeah.
Sort of like what our guys do in wars. They keep the enemy at bay away so that it can help people at home.
And there's a lot of other hazards, like Autumn was saying. It's a house can get caught on fire millions of different ways.
Yes.
It doesn't mean it's a bad guy doing it.
Yes, absolutely. And my last question has to be just to Autumn, because Ryan hasn't seen the movie. From the movie, ultimately, is Dave Shields good or evil?
Ugh.
I guess we should tell what happens first, and then we can
See
that
the
way-
main bad guy, or
No.
He actually is All Might's sidekick in his younger
He
days.
was his partner when
His
he was
partner.
yeah,
younger.
because this is when All Might's young. He's like
yeah,
younger.
in the
Yeah.
beginning, it kind of goes back and forth when he was young, and then it goes back to him and Deku at Island,
Yeah.
and they have their little like villains take over or whatever.
In the beginning, they're driving this really cool car, this red car, and All Might. I keep wanting to say Todoroki, but All Might is in the passenger seat, and they're driving around, and I really thought at that time that Dave Shields was a hero, had a quirk, but apparently he didn't. He was just his driver, his chauffeur, apparently. And then it goes back to All Might going back to Japan, and he becomes Dave Shields becomes this super scientist who.
Gets like Nobel Quirk Prize.
Yes, kind of like the equivalent of absolutely.
Mhm.
And well, go ahead and tell them the plot of what Shields does.
Okay, well, he basically All Might goes, visits, whatever, they get together, whatever, and it kind of like it gets taken over by whatever, and then David Shield has to his sponsors took his warp.
best invention.
Yeah, his best invention
Yes.
because it was too dangerous, or like it would have balanced.
And what was that
unbalanced
best
all of it.
invention?
It was to amplify someone's quirk.
Oh,
So
And what was the reason he made it?
to help All Might because his power was fading, and he wanted to put
So
it on
this
All
would-
Might to.
So this would totally help All Might. In his motivation, it was to help All Might. But then he goes and tries to steal it back, which obviously stealing something that's not yours, because technically it's not his.
Yeah.
When you work for someone else, it belongs to the company. And he went to steal it, and he crossed that moral line into doing what's wrong. So is he good or bad for...
I would say he had good intentions, but I wouldn't say he was completely bad. He's not like a huge villain or anything. He's not on like Shigaraki and All for One level, but he's definitely like probably would be justified to like go to jail for at least a year or something, or like get a little punishment for it. But I wouldn't say it was like murder level.
For me, I need to know if he knew it was wrong. If he thought him doing it was right, then he would probably be considered an error of judgment, an error of knowledge. Because if he knew it was wrong and still went ahead and did it, then he was committing an evil. It was a breach of morality then.
Sounds like he did think it was right if he follow through with it.
Yeah,
and
I
stuff,
see.
so.
That's why it doesn't really. It's not quite like a novel, so you don't
Yeah.
really get inside of his head. But he's a good guy.
Yeah,
So, and I think I really believe he just made a mistake.
that does happen. So.
Okay. So those are my questions. Do you have anything?
I think I don't know how to really word this, but it's just so All Might has one for all, right?
I confuse him all the
yeah,
time.
one for all is his quirk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what he passes to Midori through his hair.
That's kind of gross having to eat someone's hair, but
But hey, I need a piece
there
of
are
hair
better
of that,
ways to
yeah.
get someone's DNA, and you could have done the blood brother thing and cut each other and
That would have been pretty cool, but I mean, All Might's hair. Come on, that hair is pretty sweet. You know? But I think it's funny that just the quirk itself has so much meaning to it. Like, one for all that's the good one. If I can get this right, I hope I'm not messing this up. But it's basically the whole thing of what All Might is. A symbol of peace and justice to protect. Just humanity and the good side basically, and then there's All for One, who wants to take away powers and use them, and it's
I might have had this conversation.
yeah. I was gonna say, I'm like, you definitely, just because the way they're worded.
Well,
too,
so.
so.
They lifted that from Alexander Dumas and the Three Musketeers, right? All for one.
Oh
one
yeah,
for all.
yeah. Why
Okay.
did I go over my head?
Okay,
That's
but
hilarious.
given that of the two sides, All for One is the one that should be the good one,
That
because
sounds right. That sounds like it sounds like the more just.
when you go one for all, that's collectivism.
Yeah.
One for the group.
Yeah, like I know the what's right, you know.
Yes,
so
and I get to decide what's right,
everybody.
and that brings up questions of whether that's just or not. All for one is everyone for the individual, and that is the only possible way to include every single individual, because ultimately we are all individuals.
Yeah.
So if you're all for one, you're all for everyone. So that's why, and I don't think they were
I think
evil.
it just sounded right, you know.
I think they're just mistaken. Most people just they think that that's the right way to do. They don't think it through morally. They don't check their premises, as Ayn Rand would say. It's huge red flags go off when I hear that. I just wish they did them the other way around. But I do understand what they meant. And in a way, you're absolutely right. All Might is trying to help everyone. So in a way, you're 100% right. So he is one for all. That one, that All Might is for all, to protect everyone. I get that. I just philosophically.
Yeah, you probably obviously can dive deeper into it. So,
is that it? Is that all you got for that?
I mean, at that, do you have anything or?
Do you agree with me?
I think it was more. I don't think it's more like what you meant. I think it was more for like one person, like versus all, you know, and then all like trying, like he took all for one took everyone's power and taking everyone's power, but All Might's trying to like prevent that and like.
Now I think about it, maybe
too.
I should have said all for one's quirk. Taking everyone else's quirk.
It's a pretty good.
That's a pretty good quirk.
I mean, yeah, it's he can go toe to toe with All Might. No, not many people can do that.
Yeah, so that was a bit, maybe I should change my answer. But
go ahead.
go ahead. No, so say it.
How was it? I forgot how to say it. Oh yeah, I think it's funny that, especially obviously since this is a Japanese show, when he's fighting All for One, that his special move that he uses is the United States of Smash. You know, it's just kind of interesting they would choose that as like the special move. And he even did in that first one. He was fighting the monster guys. You know, he God, what do you call it?
No Moo.
Yeah, but
Numu? Nomo?
No Moo.
No Moo.
Yeah, those are like the weird brain
Brain
dudes.
things,
Yeah.
No, it's kind of ironic too. Their brains are shown, but they're complete morons.
Yeah,
They're idiots.
exactly. But he had that in that first fight. He had I think it was the Texas Smash or something like, or like
Probably.
Utah.
They've also-
it was
they've
one
done
of the states.
Detroit Smash.
Yeah,
Detroit
Detroit
Smash. They've done.
Yeah.
Haven't they done Delaware as well?
Delaware,
Delaware.
Detroit Smash.
Yes.
Carolina Smash.
What I think this is now, I don't know. I don't know the motivation of the writer, but Japanese culture since World War II has been pro-America, and I really think that has a lot to do with it. I think
Probably.
that's why he's. I mean, they think America is the ideal society now, and I think that's what he was trying to put in there to emulate. I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't know, but if I had to guess, that's what it would be. And I do think it's cool they did use United States Smash.
Yeah, it's just interesting. You could have picked anything, just any kind of word, and they just picked such a specific thing, so. And again, All Might, he's a tall, blonde-haired guy. It's like there's a lot to unpack there.
I walk away from My Hero Academia with 6 lessons. The first and the best one is strength comes much from the mind as it does the body. And I think Midoriya embodies that. He uses his mind as well as his body. I mean, he's the best thinker of all of them. He's the one who's always trying to plot or to plan, even his muttering. He's always trying to think, what's the next plan? What's the next step ahead? Number 2, hard work can sometimes beat talent, and success can sometimes take time, as Midoriya's character says. 3 is have confidence in yourself. Don't give up on yourself. Once again, to me, there's mostly Midoriya. Believe in something that's worth fighting for. Midoriya again. Don't let the compliments go too much to your head.
Don't insult.
And start before you're ready. I really think that's a big life lesson, because if Midoriya would have waited until he was ready, he never would have done anything.
Yeah.
But he started before he was ready and interested himself in doing it, but he went in there, and that's one of the greatest life lessons is don't wait till you're ready. Just do it.
Yeah. And he doesn't ever care who his opponent is. And there's just been so many times he's fought they don't have any gauge on this, but he's never. If as long as it's like in like season 3 when he fights the big muscle dude, it's like that guy was just overpowered him right at the start, but he knew that little kid couldn't. He was gonna die. That guy was gonna kill him. So it's like he had to defend him if he was gonna die too. So
he couldn't give up. He
Yeah.
had to be that hero. No,
Yeah.
I agree. Good point.
yeah.
I have a quiz.
Oh.
Of course, we can't go over My Academia without a quiz, right? Fell into this trap.
It's really easy. I'm both of these guys should be able to get it. What is a quirk?
Superpower.
Yeah,
Very
special
good.
ability.
What does Ezekiel Midoriya, the protagonist, does he first meet the hero All Might?
Oh, the when he has the slime villain and he.
Yeah, but not where does he meet
Oh,
him?
underneath that bridge thing.
Was in a tunnel? Was it?
Yeah, that tunnel bridge
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's what I was.
Sorry, I didn't ask you.
I was gonna say a
should've-
computer because he watched all the movie, but that's not meeting him. That's not meeting him.
Well, at
though.
first I
Yeah.
thought it was a rooftop because that's where he actually talks to him and confronts him and tells him that you can't. It's not for you.
Yeah.
And then he jumps and hangs on to him. But then you're right. It is a tunnel. What's the name of the academy that they attend?
School.
The school. What is it?
I know.
UA.
UA. That's it. What does Deku mean?
I forgot this.
See, it actually has two meanings.
Yeah,
The
'cause
the first meaning comes from Bakugo, and the second meaning comes from anti-gravity girl.
Yeah, because they
Yeah.
both call him that, and it's like Bakugo calls him that because that's his his bully name to him. So.
What does it mean?
Defenseless Izuku.
Oh, wow.
It's basically he basically calls him a loser.
Yeah,
And what's her name?
Uraraka.
Uraraka. She basically says you're not a loser, you're the exact opposite, and he takes that as a badge of honor from then on.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those dual meanings. How does Deku get his quirk one for all? We already mentioned that.
eats All Might's hair.
Very gross too. Very gross. How does he even
You
get
didn't
it
have
down?
to. It's like taking it's kind of like when Morpheus, offered the pill. It's like you could take the red pill, or take the blue
Still,
pill.
swallow hair. I gag it. I don't know how he
Yeah.
got down, but okay.
Yeah, that hair was like that long. Too.
It's true.
It was not like a piece of hair.
What happens when one for all is given to somebody who already has a quirk?
Oh, this is the whole thing. Okay, so if someone has a power, let's just say it's the anti-gravity, they get one for all, it amplifies it. So like Uraraka would be able to float things way up higher, and it like amplifies
yeah.
it.
I forgot about that.
So, as I guess a corollary question, is that why you think it should go to someone who's quirkless?
Yeah, I mean, because All Might, he's just super strong. He doesn't really have like a special ability.
He was quirkless too when
Yeah,
he got given
exactly.
to him. So
So he's just like a super powered human. He doesn't have like laser eyes or anything like that.
could make him almost like godlike, like Thor.
Yeah,
Another DC
yeah.
actually.
Marvel. That's Marvel.
Okay, who won the first round of the sports festival arcs? Sports festival.
Oh, first round. Wait.
Come on.
Wait, which one? You mean the one-on-one?
The first round. That's all I'm telling you. What was the
Which
first round?
of which?
What was the first round?
Bakugo.
No, the one where they go in, and it's the running one. And
Yes.
Oh,
the
that
minefield.
one.
Midoriya.
Yeah.
Midoriya. Very
Yeah.
good. Shouldn't think it through, but
Yeah.
that's okay. That's okay.
Well, technically, he wins both of them because he wins the one with Shinzo too. I was thinking the one-on-one one.
So who won the total sports festival is the next question.
Bakugo.
Bakugo.
See, that was the one I should have waited on.
Which villain broke the spine and nearly killed Idea's brother, Ingenium?
Ida.
Ida. Well, I think Idea.
Ida.
Okay. Ida.
Ida.
See, it's a Japanese
Yeah.
name. I don't get it.
How'd you get Ingenium and not Ida?
Well, fine. Go ahead.
Stain.
I can see it's spelled
Yeah.
that way. This IIDA is.
Ida.
Anyways, what's the answer to the question?
Stain.
Stain.
Yeah.
Okay. What is All Might?
He's a symbol of peace.
And justice.
And
Very
justice.
good. Very good. And the last one. What nearly killed All Might at the USJ?
The Nomu?
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go. See,
Yeah,
you
I thought
passed
that
it.
was like his scar or something.
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say
that.
the wound of him grabbing it, but then I was like, "What?
Well,
did
who gave him that scar?
Yeah.
Wasn't that all,
That
didn't
was
All
All
for
for
One give him
One.
that? Yeah.
That was their like first fight.
Well, we can end. I got a few quotes, and if you guys, I can see if you guys know who says this, or we can
Sure.
just end it. What do you want to do?
Let's do it. Yeah. Keep
All
going.
right. Who says all men are not created equal?
Deku.
Midoriya. Very
Okay.
good. Very good.
I guess this will be harder than I thought. I literally probably only know All Mights.
How about if you want to stop this, then stand up, because I've got one thing to say to you. Never forget who you want to become.
Oh. All Might?
No.
No.
Aizawa? Or wait, how do you say Eraserhead?
My favorite. Icy Hot.
Oh.
Hot says that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You're evil. That's how it is. Symbol of peace? Ha. In the end, you're just a tool for violence, made to keep us down, and violence only breeds more violence.
Stain?
Shigaraki?
Very good. I call him Hands.
Hands? Oh, yeah.
I still don't
I always
understand
forget
that.
him. Yeah.
He's, okay. The most inflated egos are often the most fragile.
Oh, it's either. Is it All Might to Bakugo? Or is
It's All Might. Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Should I waited for you?
No,
Should I?
I had nothing. I would have blurted that. So.
Wanting to do it and being suitable for it are different issues.
Wait, say that again.
Wanting to do it and being suitable for it are different issues.
Eraserhead. I'm just going.
Yeah, Eraserhead. No?
Well, you lashed at me for mispronouncing his name last time, so go ahead and
Oh,
say his
Ida.
name.
Oh, Ida.
Yes.
Okay.
I call him 454 Engine Notes.
Yeah. He's the class president. Or wait, chairman?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He's class pres.
Yeah.
They've been exposed to the outside world up close and personal. They've had the fear planted in them, and they've endured it, overcome it. Each has grown from that experience and forgotten how to hesitate.
That's a big
Aizawa. No?
quote. Endeavor.
No.
No, that sounded too nice. Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. He's sitting in the stands talking to the girl who was flirting with him, trying to hit on him.
I said Aizawa.
Eraserhead.
See, that's what you get. You should have said Eraserhead. I'm sorry.
Eraserhead.
You were right.
I got it the
I'm
first
sorry.
time.
2 times
See,
I
don't
said
know
it. Yeah.
the- I don't know their Japanese names.
Eraserhead.
This could be easy. I'm going to beat you all. Enjoy your win. It'll never happen again.
Bakugo.
Damn it.
Bakugo.
Very good. I
It's
told
like,
you
I
that
already
one's
know
gonna
it
be
just
easy.
from the tone.
Okay, we'll do a last one. I have to work harder than everyone else. I'll never catch up otherwise. I want to be like you, the strongest hero.
Midori.
Very good.
Sorry,
You
yeah.
ended it right. You ended it getting it right. So I hope you guys enjoyed our little special episode here of My Hero Academia. I liked it. I liked being with my daughter. She makes me so proud that she knows this.
Yeah, you know it very well. I was gonna say, like, class president. I was gonna say one thing that I find it doesn't even go in too far, but I think it's hilarious. Probably the funniest thing in the whole show is that the main president of the entire university is that little mouse guy.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's basically the principal.
Nezu,
yeah.
I don't understand.
It doesn't
and
make
then,
it any
And then he's sitting there sipping tea. I know that makes his quirk
Yeah.
stronger, but he's sipping tea. That's so.
And him and All Might always have these like deep conversations, and like, it's
Yeah,
like
but he seems like an aristocrat to me. Like,
Yeah,
sipping
yeah.
tea and just I'll just do what it takes to get
He
by.
says something like, his lectures always turn out, or this, it always turns out to be a lecture when tea gets involved.
yeah, there you go. Because they always talk.
So once again, this has been the Chains of Reason podcast. You can get a hold of us or go to our website and basically look at all our follow us on our social media and get a hold of us at chainsofreasonpodcast.com. I'd like to end it by saying, how can anyone be enlightened when the truth is so poorly lit?